All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Josh, my BBC co-host, smoking a bong, and I shall be doing it after him as well. My first bong hit ever in my life, but he's gonna demonstrate it first.
Yeah.
First of all, what is that? Danny?
Oh yeah, it's Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
It's Never Sunny in Seattle.
What a name.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, man. Rip that bad boy.
Yeah, I was actually shockingly smooth.
Was
I
it?
didn't expect it to be that smooth.
Nice.
Your turn, man.
All right. Hold it.
Yeah.
Record me instead. So basically, this is my first time ever taking a bong hit, which is crazy. So how we do this? I'm gonna light it, right? And
Yeah.
after I light it, just suck.
Yeah. And you light it, smoke it. No, you already inhale while you're lighting it. Yeah. Keep inhaling. You're good. Don't light it anymore. And take that thing out when you're ready to clear it. You gotta the last bit of smoke to clear it all out. There you go.
I'm just like paranoid that I'm gonna suck the ice.
No, the ice just to make it smoother. That's all that's for.
So I was starting to drool. So I don't know why I was starting to drool. And then go in and try to
No, you-
shit.
That's the bomb, man. How was it?
So far, I'm normal. I took a hit, right?
Yeah. You want to try again?
I'll try it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanna drool again. All right, what's up, everybody? It's another episode of Broken Bear Conversations. I'm kind of high. I'm Zico.
Yes.
That's
I'm Josh.
That's Josh.
Hey,
yeah.
why are you high, Zico?
Just before this, I took my first ever bong hit, and it did hit me. You know. So yeah, I'm interested to see how I am when I rewatch this later today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty high. But yeah.
But yeah, we want to talk about trust. That was our kind of what we want to talk about right now, because we live in a world where it's hard to get around people, right? People are off on their own little thing. They kind of do their own shit, and I think trust. That's kind of what can connect us. I feel like it's hard to find those people you can truly trust in our lives, and I think that's one of those building blocks that people need. Because if we don't have people we can trust, what kind of world is that? It's not a life I really want to live in, but it's hard to find those people. So I like to surround myself with people I can trust, and that's hard. I had to we moved here, from Texas. Now the only people I have now is just my spouse. But it's important to have, at least you gotta have that solid trust. And I believe in oneness, sort of. It's sort of like a Christian view, but I believe that kind of oneness in the marriage, like of a couple. But you gotta have so much trust.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're not married, but you're in a good relationship, a strong relationship. So how do you feel about trust, man?
Yeah, I agree with you because it feels good. Excuse me. It feels good to have somebody by your side that you can trust and talk to, and just be vulnerable with. Because I feel like I met a lot of people that, because I work in manufacturing, production type stuff, machine operator type jobs, and I've been doing that since I was 19. So I've always been the youngest one in these jobs, and usually it's a lot of older people. And yeah, I've seen how it is if you live a lot of your life and you reach a certain age being alone and not having someone to talk to and shit. And these people are kind of weird, that type of stuff, and it's kind of sad to see. So yeah, it feels good for me to have someone that I could talk to, because if you don't, these people look miserable.
But not only that, people that you can talk to that can give you honest feedback, the one that sometimes you can talk to people oh yeah, they'll listen to me, but no, you also need people that will call you out on bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's having that trust that you can trust that they'll do that, and then also they'll know that how you'll respond, it's gonna be proper. You're not gonna just be a dick. You'll oh fuck, you're right, because if they're saying it, they really mean it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people do their own thing, and it's unfortunate that we live in a world where it's not really taught to be honest. It's not cool to be honest. I feel like it's more to hide stuff. It's just we're just not taught to be open. I don't know why.
You feel like that?
I live in the world now. I mean, I grew up how I grew up. Yeah, it's different now. I feel the world is changing because of the internet. Like, people have a place to speak, and other people will connect, and they'll find other people that, hey, you're right, I'm going through the same shit. Then you can find friends that way. That was not a thing when I was younger. So it was like, to find people to trust. I'm just thankful I grew up with a parent that was just blunt. They just said what they said, you know, so I was used to that. No one really lied, so I kind of developed the habit of just being blunt. Again, that can also be a bad thing as well. You gotta learn how to, you can still be blunt, but you can still be nice about shit. You don't have to be an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like about controlling it. But learning how to, I think you kind of have to be that extreme. Just like lying, sometimes you have to lie to understand it, but then find the balance with it. You know, sometimes people, I get it, don't need to hear the real truth. You might have to say certain things to help certain people. Sometimes you, to be too honest, might lead someone, they might fuck their whole life up, you know?
Yeah.
But it's, again, there's ways to tell the truth that is not, it's not gonna kill someone's spirit, but you still tell them the truth. Because
do you have a problem with doing that?
No, I have done that in the past. Like, so example, like my brother got his teeth fixed. One time he had he had bad teeth, like something where they were eroding away a little bit. So he got new ones put in, and he was happy about it. And I walked by, I'm like, dude, your teeth look like chiclets. And I walked off. Didn't have to say that. I keep asking myself.
So you saw it?
Yeah.
You're walking. You saw it. You said it, and it walked away.
Walked away.
Dude, what?
And I'm like, that's not normal. And I'm aware of that. I'm aware that's not normal.
What was your what did you want out of that?
Nothing. It popped off in my head and I said it. That was it. It was just there and it came out and I just kept doing what I was doing. And then my mom yelled at me. He's like, you know how to keep your opinions to yourself. I'm like, oh shit, she's right. No, everybody needs to hear what I have to think. And then I tried to do that, but it is hard for me. As you know, I still struggle with my impulse control. But again, if he wasn't asking about that, I didn't have to be honest to him for no reason. Like, if he asked my opinion of it, I could tell him how I feel about it in a certain way. But there's a difference between honesty and being an asshole.
Yeah.
So learning that is a good divide. But I feel like there's a lot of people in the world that just lie for no reason, and I feel like that's the biggest thing is why. Why do people do that?
I don't know.
I'm trying to understand that.
Yeah, I've encountered a lot of liars in my life. And I've encountered people that are like compulsive liars, like what you're talking about,
Yeah.
where they just lie for like no reason. You know, it's like you don't even have to. It's like you're going out of your way. To give an example, I know somebody that I remember talking about wanting to go to the hospital for something, right? And then I was talking to them about it, and they told me that I should lie about my symptoms or how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Why? It's like if you're going there to get diagnosed for something.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want an accurate diagnosis by telling them the truth?
Right.
You know?
That makes sense.
The thing is with them, even when I say that, it just doesn't like click or it's like a wall, you
it's
know?
like there's a fear in it.
No, yeah, that's
it's crazy. It's but like to me, a doctor, it's different. Why would you want to lie? Their job is to help.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you can tell them something, so they're gonna treat that symptom. It's not your symptom. Like, I wish I didn't do this. I'm like, I must be anxiety or something.
Yeah, man.
know.
This person is I'm not gonna name them, of course, but they I'm very sorry for them because I think they actually have really real mental issues. Like they lie about like everything. So I think it's like there's something like that, scared or something.
No, it's I mean, things boil down to always like some kind of anxiety. I have my own. That's the reason why I talk so much. It's my anxiety's manifesting, and I can't control it because who knows what my anxiety's happening. But it all boils down to that. It's just again learning how to be at one with yourself, which I think a lot of people struggle with that. I still struggle with that. It's just more of learning how to be still, finding those moments and time to really spend with yourself. I don't know if people truly do that. Because I know you said you often will reflect on your day, and that's pretty big. I don't.
Is that big? Because I thought that was like.
Is it
normal?
I reflect on things, but my shit goes deep every fucking time. Like when I start reflecting on the day, I'm like, I don't even remember what I just did 5 minutes ago. I'm like, I can't think of the day. It's because like I sometimes I'm living in the moment, so I'm just existing, not really thinking about what's happening. And then sometimes I'm like, no, that's not living in the moment if I'm not thinking about it. But you know, I'm just autopilot, just enjoying things, like practicing shit, like I'm fixing things. So it's not really thinking about what I'm doing. it's just the activities I'm fixing. It's just like stuff, I don't want to think about. But then when I'm aware, I remember those things. But when I try to think back on the day, and again, that might just be because I'm aphasia, but I don't know. But I know when you said that, kind of blew my mind. But I do reflect. It's just more a lot of things on like different parts of myself or different past things, like why I did certain things. I'll reflect on little bits for a while, I'll ponder on it and figure out how to fix things on myself. Or
you talked about having aphasia. So when you do reflect, you don't see anything?
No.
What do you remember?
So I know that's what, again, there are things that do come, like I'll have familiarities, like a sense of feeling. Like if I think about it, if I had a great time at the beach enjoying that, like I'll have the feelings will be there. Or if like a bad thing happened, like I'll understand it. It was like an emotional time, so I'll reflect on it. And since I experienced it, I can kind of see. I know if I close my eyes, I can walk around my house right now fine, because I know what it is. I know the shapes of things. I understand where they are. So it's like it's there. It's hard to explain because I'm not really seeing anything. It's just like. It's like I'm looking at underwater. I don't know if that makes sense. Like it's there, it's blurry. It's just like I understanding. It's like how you're seeing it, but you're not seeing it. It's like you're not really always paying attention what your eyes are looking at. Mm-hmm. They're always observing, but you're not always paying attention to all the shit that's happening. Sort of like that. So it's like you've seen the stuff, so it's like almost like you're passing by it. So I can look at my memories. They're not really pulling them up at my will, but like when I often think of things, a memory will pop up, and it's like I'll get a quick understanding of the memory versus seeing it. If that makes sense.
Crazy to hear.
It's weird. It made me understand books better, why I struggle with certain ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just always preferred nonfiction. It was easier reading that stuff.
Easier than what?
Reading fiction.
Because fiction you have to like imagine everything.
Yeah, you have to imagine everything. Usually it's like stuff that doesn't exist. You have to really work, and I never knew why I struggled with that. But again, that's where honest, like internet, when people really started speaking about shit, that is how I learned. That was only like 2 years ago. It was a YouTube video. And I'm like, I wish more stuff was like that. If people would, I think people are doing that, but I feel like there's just more things that we like to pretend we don't notice and we don't talk about. And I don't know why it's become subconscious sometimes. Like people, like we're not aware, oh, there is a homeless problem, but they're just not, we don't look at it, we don't really think about it, even though this is a problem. We all should be trying to figure something out for that. But again, it's an honesty thing. We're not honest with ourselves with certain stuff in life, and I'm learning that as well as in myself. Like, what am I not honest with? Like in interactions, am I honest with the human being that I'm interacting with? Not all the time. No.
Really?
Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I don't know if it's always faking, but or it's just like I'm just because I don't want to interact, so I'll be something for a little bit, so they'll go away. I don't know, but I could be honest. I'm like, hey, I don't feel like talking right now. Like I'm just like, or I'm like, hey man, how's it going? Like, if it depends on what I'm in the mood for. Like, I have to be aware of that. Like, I'm not always aware of my mood sometimes, but I feel like if I am in there, and sometimes I might be in a creative mood, I really can't talk to people if I'm too distracted in my head, and I'm not going to be a good listener, and I know that sometimes, and I don't think I'm honest with people in those moments, because I might need to step away and unwind, and then I can be back. It's like I'm learning that some things I might take a bit to unwind. So it's like being honest with yourself, which I don't think a lot of people are. It's like really looking in that internal mirror, I don't know.
I'm trying to understand.
Sorry. Yeah. Now, how are you feeling, Zico? Yeah, how are you? I've been trying to light this for a bit, but how are you feeling right now off that bong head? Has you gotten worse? Are you coming back to normal?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just you said a lot.
Yeah, I apologize.
No,
I meant to take some breaks, but
okay. I was just trying to keep up. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
I just mean like being honest with yourself. Like, if people aren't honest enough with who they are, and I think people struggle with that. Do you struggle with different parts of yourself being honest, like in moments in life with people?
Being honest, I feel like sometimes I'm too honest.
I know that's a spectrum. I agree with.
Yeah, like sometimes I might say too much or be too open. So. For me, I feel like I was a late bloomer. I had to learn to do that a lot less. And for me, I thought it was just me being 100% honest with people. Sorry, my throat is like...
Yeah. You need to take a drink. You're good.
Let me take a drink.
But yeah, being 100% honest with people, like being too honest. That's what I was talking about, where I was with my brother. I would do that. Sometimes even with strangers, I would just, like, not everybody needs that, you know? It might be my opinion. They didn't ask for it. Now if they ask for it, I can be like Simon Cowell and be as blunt. But again, if people are, I can give it it's like, am I being genuine in that moment? You know, like, sometimes I just respond without thinking all the time.
Yeah.
Even if it's an honest response.
Yeah, I don't think a lot too. I remember I would always do what you do, where I wouldn't like think before I speak, and I would like say something that might be too honest, and it might hurt somebody. I did it a lot.
Yeah.
And each time I did it, I would like kind of like tell myself, stop doing that. I don't know why I keep doing dumb stuff, but I keep doing it, you know? And it kept happening. I think I just realized something really recently, is that I just gotta just like take a breath, you know?
Yeah.
And just actually think. Like, actually try, yeah. 'Cause I feel like sometimes I half-ass like actually talking, you know? And I'm like, I gotta like actually think about what I want to say and how I come off, you know? Instead of just going, you know?
Yeah.
Because like that's just a stream of consciousness at that point. I should just actually think about what I have to say to the person.
Yeah, and again, comes back to being truly honest with yourself, and you just like all about pulling a step back, like you were saying.
I'm still being honest, you know, but I'm just really thinking about what I have to say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, even with yourself, like, you had to be more aware of yourself, which I struggle with. I slip in and out of that constantly. It's just, I think I get excited and like another part of myself takes over for a bit, but learn how to pull yourself back and be aware in those moments for sure, because I've said so many things I highly regret, not mean to, just I'm not thinking about it, and I say it offhandedly. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even consider their feelings, and it sucks, and I hate when I do that, because I don't want to be inconsiderate to people. It's a respect thing, you know, we should respect each other.
Yeah, I do the same thing, because I'm like I'm not trying to be mean to somebody, you know, but then I end up saying what I say and it is mean to that person.
Yeah.
But same thing, I'm always trying to be respectful, so I really want to try and be better, so I'm actually trying instead of half-assing.
And I think that's the most important thing. Just like anything, people want, like, in relationships, same thing. Everyone has to be trying. You want to be trying to be the best version of you every single fucking day, always. You should just keep trying. It's like once you start giving up on that, you'll sink down, and it's like you can drag everybody fucking down. And it's like learning how to get past that. Again, it takes about being honest with yourself. People struggle with being that. You probably really need to talk to somebody, which there are so many options. Shit, we can probably talk to AI right now, you know, that might help you heal through shit.
Maybe.
Because some of them were fucking terrifyingly realistic. But I feel like the way our world's going now, I feel like it's easier. We have lots of options to talk. There are ways to talk. Everybody should. It is important, but also learning how to speak. Because a lot of times people complain, which I struggle with that. Sometimes I'll be complaining, but it's not really a complaint. I'm not. If I'm being honest with myself, I'm upset about this. I don't like how this is happening. I want this to stop or whatever. Versus just saying like I don't like what that is. You know, like why don't I go into it? Do you understand why? Like reflect on it versus just reacting because you don't like it. But then go deep. Let's figure out what this is. There's a cycle to it, and then if you're honest with yourself, you'll find it. And that's why it's hard. I think people really struggle with being honest with yourself, but being still.
So what do you mean exactly with being honest with yourself? Like, do you feel like you lie about traits of yourself or your life, or like what are you lying about?
No, not like that. It's more like sometimes when we're not subconsciously always aware, which is like, again, that's how I say not being honest with who you are, because people like to lie about, oh, I'm like this. They're like, oh, I'm not an asshole all the time, or I'm not like this. I was like, I'm not being that rude, or I'm not being narcissistic, I'm not selfish, whatever they are, because they'll find ways to excuse something. And I used to excuse some things, but I'm like, no, I could change it if I wanted to. You know, I could be better. And I have to look at stuff. Was my action done with love? If it wasn't, that's how I know for sure. If certain things aren't done through love, then I'm not honest. Because honesty is love to me. Like if it's honest, it's done with love. It's like it should be. Because if it's honest without love, that's not true honesty. That makes sense.
Love. Well, so do you feel like you do things and then you lie about the way or reason why you do them?
For sure,
Mm-hmm.
because I struggle with that. I do lots of things I do not care to do, but I if I don't, I know I'll sink down into a darker thing. So I'm learning how to re-examine my view on the actions I do, but do them more with an intent, like a more loving intent. Because I just have to do things like I do struggle with stuff. Like I won't do most things in my life because I used to. It's hard for me to care. I start sinking down deep in that darkness, and it kind of sucks. But it's just about there's versions of yourself, and I feel like if you learn how to find those versions of yourself, each of them can be honest in their own way. Like there's a darkness, it can be honest darkness. There's a light that's still there, but some people struggle trying to be that version of themselves all the time. And it's just trying to find that balance in who you are. I don't know, it's a lot of work. I don't know if that answered anything.
I'm still trying to keep up. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's all about, like I said, being honest. I feel like you are on you're on a right path. I feel like you are ahead in different ways because you found that early. Some people struggle with that. I think I found certain ways of coping for sure, but not all more positive. It's about building those blocks in life, a good foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of my foundations were on negative things.
So, going back to being honest with yourself, you feel like you're lying a lot?
Not lying, but lying to like myself in different ways. Like,
Lying to yourself?
Like lying to myself in the way my anger is perceived, because I am only seeing it from my perspective. So it's like learning how to see it from others. I can understand it better, and I was lying to myself how it could be perceived by them. Like it's not as bad as to me. It's not, but how it looks, it probably looks fucking terrifying.
So you're getting angry a lot, and you want to justify it.
Yeah, I had reasons why I justify it, like these excuses. But that was me. I think lying to myself, and it's also moments where I could have been more brave and bold, but I wasn't. Again, that's about being more honest with yourself, because like I would have excuses of what was the problem. But it's like no, it's like if you wanted this one thing, or if you chose not to be or stand up for yourself in that moment, you chose to let whatever happen. It's like different things. It's just like it could just be someone being racist. I chose not to say something. But if I didn't like it, I could say something. That's about being honest. It's like sometimes you just don't want to deal with it, so you just ignore it. But I'm like, if I saw that, I could have done something. It could be just someone saying something. It just depends. There's those moments in everyday life.
Yeah, that's interesting because that's like kind of two different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
It's like one moment you're using a lot of energy to be angry, and you're out going doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then another moment something happens and now you have a reason to do something, but you don't.
Yeah, and again, it's about where you put your energy in. It's like people aren't fully aware, but being honest with yourself, like I would rather put my anger towards that motherfucker.
Yeah, why do you think you didn't?
I don't know. Again, it's like things I really have to fully ponder, but truly learning to do my actions with intent, like even like when I sometimes will smoke, like I'm now trying to do with true intent. It's a lot better. Like a lot of things are, when I'm doing things more intentional, are better. Just instead, because you, like you were saying before, half-ass and shit. I don't want to half-ass stuff. That's not being, to me, that's not being honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying.
Yeah.
I'm just barely like put the foot in. I'm like, no. Why am I not being fully? There's something stopping me. It's like, and I gotta learn that.
That's really interesting, because it seems that you put more energy towards something negative than something positive.
In some ways, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I do put energy toward positive things, but I'm trying to figure out what the fuck happened. Different things I'm sure are a factor, but that's mostly what I've been on, doing different things, meditations, writings, and
yeah, because I don't know if this is like a stretch, but this kind of reminds me of something, because you are the youngest in your family.
I am.
So you're like the baby of the family.
I'm the baby,
right?
yeah.
So
10 years
how many
the eldest.
how many siblings do you have?
I have 2 older brothers and 1 older sister.
So 4 kids in total.
4 kids in total.
And I think you told me before that some of your siblings are half.
Yeah, I have a older sister, 10 years apart. She's half. All have the same dad. Then I have an older brother, 7 years older than me, and he's half as well.
Okay.
They're both full blood.
Okay, so you have one full blood, or
Yeah, one full blood.
okay, that's interesting you say that. because it reminds me of my friend
Okay.
who I know, and he has 3 siblings in total, so there's 4 kids, and one of his siblings is a full
Okay.
sibling, and the 2 are half.
Similar. Then,
2 other half. So it's like interesting that we have that as well. But it's also interesting because I know their younger brother, the baby of the family, he reminds me of you because he puts energy towards negative things.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna say, but but he doesn't put things towards positive. He doesn't put energy towards positive things at all. You know, because he could be working, getting a job. He could be, you know, instead of doing that, he smokes a lot.
Yeah.
Does stuff like that. You know, stays at home.
Yeah.
Doesn't really do much. So it's like interesting how, and he's not the only person I know, but there's interesting how I come across people who, it's like they rather do the negative thing.
So my negative things were more like how I dealt with my anger. But yeah, like I would have a drive, so like, but I wouldn't do things with much intent. But yeah, I've have relatives, same motherfucking thing, man. But put energy in negative habits, and even those are more life habits, even personality habits. That's kind of where I'm dealing with right now. I have for sure life habits I gotta fix, but I'm trying to get straight. But those personality habits, it's just how you take in information, how you react. I used to have bad road rage, still got some, but I'm working on that. It's just, but how things interact with me, and it's just trying new things. I don't know if you struggle with that.
Man, that's interesting because I don't ever get in road rage accidents at all. And I don't get mad at people, but also it doesn't happen to me because you told me stories of people like kind of antagonizing you.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Trying to get something out of you, but for me that never happens to me. So that's so interesting because, again, you're not the only person who I know who kind of has like opposite life for me, and they also are an angry person.
Yeah.
But and since they're angry, I think they kind of attract that type of stuff, and I don't get that.
XXX says the same shit. Like we were saying, the law of attraction thing. He knew he kind of predicted his own death because how he lived. It's like same shit, you attract it. Like, of course that shit's gonna happen to me. I've lived angry and drove, not always just crazy, but I reacted angry and it shit would bother me. So it's like, I really feel like it's a spectrum. You're touching this low frequency shit. Guess what? You're tuned into it still. You gotta untune from it. But how do you untune from that? People really struggle with that. That's why I do so many fucking creative shit, because I struggle with it, you know? If I didn't touch all these fucking dark spectrums, I probably wouldn't be as creative. But it was the only way I knew how to get shit out.
Is that like escapism?
100%. That's why, that's all creatives. That's their escapism. I was wondering, like, I feel like I struggle with my depression a lot, but I'm like, if I didn't have it, I don't think I could create the art the way I do, the way I like it. But I
think if it's fucking up your life, it's a priority.
It is. It is. I have urges to paint all day, and I do paint as much as I can. I just can't stop thinking about things like that. But I feel like that's my internal shit saying, hey, you gotta get some stuff out, you know. So you need to spend time doing this. That's even if I don't know what I'm doing. It's just like the intent behind it.
I think again, going back into putting energy into positive things, that's good too.
Yeah.
But also like working out, I think will also help. Because and I know you hate it and you don't want to do it, but but that's going back to we talked about this before. Discipline.
Yeah. Healthy habits.
That's about it. You gotta be willing to do something that you hate. You know, because there's a lot of people. I think even Joe Rogan, he hates working out.
Yeah.
David Goggins hates working out. These people work out all the time, but they hate it. But it's like you got to do it.
So I'm like trying to paint a mental picture for you, man. Because I can't really do it, but I think I know how to do this a little bit. So I look at these fucking traits like you're talking about as like a little goblin fucking negative monster, right? And it makes you hate it because inside I don't want to fucking do it, but you don't. You have the energy, all these thoughts and urges. It sounds horrible to you. Because that's like that negative monster. That's what it's doing. Even though it's like your internal shit saying this motherfucking stuff is gonna save your life. I promise if you do it. But this other part's like, no, I fucking hate it. But usually, and I don't know if you ever read the Bible that much. There's like this verse. I wish I fucking knew it off the top of my head. But it was like, at my weakest, am I the strongest? Like only at my weakest am I at my strongest. They say that because once you conquer that shit, you break a habit. You're destroying whatever that motherfucking thing is. You won't be. The because I've stepped out. I have never been as depressed as I used to get. It used to be like it would I couldn't leave areas. I would be stuck. It would just melt, you know, on the couch. It would be like devastating like that. And then something pulled me out. Like once I conquered that shit, it was because I didn't want to let someone down. I didn't like breaking that promise because it happened to me, and I couldn't do it. and when I chose that over my shit, it was like a spell fucking broke. It just fucking like a bubble popped, and I have never sunk that low since. It's been fucking years. But I feel like same thing by me finding ways to work out, because I've never really done as much as I'm doing right now in my life.
That's crazy.
I mean, I've worked out a little bit, but like ran and shit like that. But I never had to do it in school. I never had a reason. I just did creative shit. So the only reason I would run is because I'm outside working, you know. I had to dig holes and stuff. I had to put posts in, you know. I had to do manual labor, but that's the only reason I think I have strength, because I had to work as a child, like doing, you know, putting fences and stupid stuff like that, because I lived in the country. But just doing normal stuff. But actually just sitting there working out, I think that's once you conquer that, it's like you're gonna break something. Like you're saying, building those healthy stuff. Like your friend was saying, their younger brother was struggling with that. They had their energy put in all these negative things, and when you start putting that shit into positive stuff, and again, honesty is how I'm looking at it now. Being truly honest with myself, I'm like looking at it, I'm like, no, why am I doing it? I don't have a reason. So then, like, if I start working out, I know it's gonna make me feel better. Why am I resisting it? It's like, why do I not eat much vegetables? I don't know. So I'm trying to be more vegetarian to force myself. Why not?
Whatever works.
Yeah, you're just trying to find that shit. But anyway, this was my section on honesty. Like, I know you had a lot of stuff. Like, this is our podcast. We'll probably have more discussions on this later. But this is I don't know what episode this is now. We've been on. But
it don't matter.
Yeah, but anyway, this is Book of More Conversations.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks for
Zico.
watching.